Very well known in Germany for a long, long time. Not so well known in the United States, but is getting very, very popular. Thanks to the great publishing house of Bärenreiter in Germany, they have printed the Sassmannshaus editions in English and made them available through here. We're the exclusive distributor of Bärenreiter editions in the United States. And we've been selling the violin school, the violin method, for maybe a little more than a year now. So we're really delighted to be introducing the cello method. Actually, today is the U.S. premiere of the cello method. No one else has it, so you all have copies of it if you're a cellist here. And I wanted to make a few thank yous to people here who have really been instrumental in putting this whole presentation together. First, Alexandra Ostrov. She's our Shar apprentice, one of several apprentices. She's done a great job organizing everything, and it's a really big job to do this. I want to thank Michelle Vibber, who I don't think is in here. She's the executive assistant to Higef Sharing, the president of Shar. Megan Plonka, our store manager, right here. And Denise Pine, our sheet music manager, who really coordinated all the issues with Bärenreiter and making sure we could get these cello editions here. And they are hot off the press. I think they were printed about a week ago in Germany. I also want to thank Jerry Arnold for helping us with many of the details for this event. We had talked about this early on at the ASTA conference a couple of months ago, and I'm just really delighted to be able to have this. I think most of you, or maybe many of you, are Suzuki teachers, and a lot of people, I think they have a misconception about methods. They think you can either do one method or another method. And what's great about the Sassmannshaus method, as any great method, is those things are transferable to Suzuki or to any other thing. A good method is a good method, regardless of what is there. And the practicality of the Sassmannshaus method, you'll get a feeling for that today. There's a great article here, if you get Strad magazine, on page 73. This month's issue is a whole page on Professor Sassmannshaus and some of the basic tenets of the method, such as learn to play the piece first, then memorize the piece, then you can work on the details. It's advice like this that makes the Sassmannshaus method so effective. So without further ado, I'd like to turn the floor over to Professor Sassmannshaus, and thanks again for attending. There'll be a light lunch afterwards.
Thanks. Great. Thank you very much for coming. Thanks to Shar for presenting this opportunity. This is wonderful. Glad so many people are here. Just a few words about where I came from. The gentleman to my right there is my father, who is a violin teacher. So I grew up in a house where everybody played the violin, and I thought when I was 5 years old it was perfectly normal to play the violin, of course. My dad came to the violin actually rather late, and had probably his most influential lessons with a student of Sevcik's, an American who lived in Germany, Walter Schulze-Priska, and got introduced to this. He taught all his life. I grew up in a small town in Germany called Würzburg between Frankfurt and Nuremberg. And my father was assistant principal violist there, first taught a lot, went then to the municipal music school full time, and always was very interested in teaching really little kids, 4 to 6 year olds, and felt that there wasn't really enough material available that was geared towards that age group of kids who couldn't really read, to whom music for the most part, reading music was completely new, and he started making his own sheets with very large print that you will see in the method in a minute, and he presented those at regional and national conferences of music teachers until sometime in the mid-70s. The Bosse Verlag, which is still a subsidiary of Bärenreiter, and Bärenreiter took it over eventually, they came to him and said, well, you have all these nice sheets. If you put them all together, don't you have almost a volume of a violin method there? And they started working, and together with Bärenreiter I think in 1976, it's the first time the first volume was published, and then 2, 3, and 4 subsequently in the following years. The method has been very, very successful in German-speaking countries, so Germany, Switzerland, Austria is the best-selling method. And last year, Bärenreiter published the English method. I translated the method and threw some of the Teutonic children's songs out and put American and English songs in that had the same technical requirements and were providing the same technical materials. Just a couple of words. I then finished my high school in Würzburg. I studied in Cologne with a teacher by the name of Igor Ozim for my undergraduate studies, and then went to Juilliard to Dorothy DeLay for my master's. And shortly thereafter, I started teaching first at the Aspen Music Festival as an assistant to DeLay. Since 1981, I've been teaching in Cincinnati, and that school has been very good to me. So, as I said, it was very important to my father that the music was printed very, very large. Now, in the beginning, of course, the kids will more likely take the E from the elephant to remember that this is to be played on the E string. Then they're actually reading the music, but it will give them another reason to start remembering what music prints look like. When we start out, as you know, and you probably all have taught beginners, we start in the middle 50% of the bow. We like to have continuous sound, so we don't recommend putting tapes on the bow because we try to avoid these the short notes that end up with a lot of pressure on the bow. So the very beginning is just this, and this is after, and I'll spare you this part where, since you know it all, in the first lesson you go through the parts of the violin and to make the kid familiar with it and all of this. You go into explanation of the bow grip, where we recommend to hold the thumb on the ferrule and all of this. Just about all these things in this method are left to the experience of the teacher. You've done this, you've learned to do this, and writing this down makes for pages and pages of very difficult to read prose. So we leave that to the largest extent to the teacher. There will be some instructions as far as the individual method is concerned that we'll see later on, especially when it comes to playing with different finger patterns, and later in book 3 and 4 when it comes into playing in positions. So we start with this, and we try to get the kids to do a slow bow that can handle 2 claps and then various rhythms just on one note. The same thing then with, of course, different annuals, D for the D string, G, the goose for the G string, and you'll find all kinds of nice illustrations. I was very happy with the illustrator that Bärenreiter picked for this edition. Together with the English edition, Bärenreiter actually also produced a very new version of the German edition with completely new illustrations, new typeset and all of this, because they felt that after 35 years it was time to do something more contemporary.